Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Miguel. I hope things are going well for you this morning. We're getting a lot of rain today, and the gym was kind of closed much of the time today. Well, actually, the gym was open, but the machines were covered mostly. I was able to get access to some of the dumbbells, but not all of the dumbbells, and I didn't necessarily have access to the shoulder raise, the shoulder lateral raise machine, so I had to skip it. And I noticed that what's happening is that a lot of the, um, you know, because it's raining outdoors, the gym is covering up the machines outside, and that's sort of forcing a lot of people inside to do cardio, and I'm just not going to do that right now because I'm all about protecting myself from the Rona, at least for the next 2 weeks, or 3 weeks until, actually for the next 2 weeks until my vaccine starts kicking in. So anyway, I think this week's going to be a deload week, which is totally okay. I need a deload week anyway, probably. One thing I noticed is that my shoulder workout was a little weak today. And I think that has to do with the fact that the last time I did shoulders was like 9 days ago. 7 days delay is okay between workouts, but anything more than that is just... When you start getting into 8 days and 9 days, things just get iffy for the muscles, and I end up sort of decreasing my weights. I picked up some interesting wipes the other day, these Clorox disinfecting wipes, and they've been working pretty well. I keep them here in my car, and I don't necessarily like the way that they smell or the way that they feel, but they're okay. I'm able to wipe down things like my steering wheel and wipe down things like my cellular telephone and my keys, which is something I've actually never used to do, and so that's kind of handy for that. They've got a substance on them that kills bacteria and viruses, but one thing I also recognize is that it sort of smudges my glasses, so I don't use them on my glasses because it's got like a smudgy... It leaves a residue. And let's see. I also picked up this Fog Gone stuff. Unfortunately, the cap sort of unscrewed, and I lost like 90% or easily 80% of this defog stuff. See, what happens is that when I wear my mask and I wear my glasses, the water vapor from my breath fogs up the inside of my glasses, and I've got to use some kind of defogger in order to deal with that. And anyway, I'm kind of having trouble with the fogging up. I'm glad. For me, it's just going to be another 3 weeks or so, and all this whole thing will be over. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that I got the vaccine, and so I'm just going to basically be waiting it out, trying to stay as safe as I can for the next 20 days or so, 21 days, so that, this whole thing takes and it's a success. Let's see, what else is going on with me? To me, I guess today's show and tell. I picked up these bars. These bars, they're okay. These are Quest bars. These are protein bars for my workouts. And you get 21 grams of protein for each bar, which is okay. It's for 190 calories, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Not for a bar anyway. And so that's kind of nice. I like the taste of them, but here's the problem. I also like they've got like fake chocolate chips in them, and I like that way it tastes. But here's the thing: this packaging is this metallized packaging, like a Mylar. Um, it's really tough, and it's hard to get into the bar. And I guess that's good from a product stability standpoint, but from a consumer standpoint, I have a hard time getting into that bar for some reason. I need to work extra hard. Good thing I've got stronger fingers. Oh yeah, I was just thinking today about the shoulder workout. Man, I think my shoulder workout was not as strong as usual, and um, anyway, it makes me think about how it probably would be a good idea for me to work out more frequently, like a single body part more frequently than once a week. I have a feeling that my workouts would go better, and that I would increase more rapidly my weight. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I guess there are a lot of ways I could do it. Maybe to like to there are a lot of ways I could do it. There are a lot of things I could do it, but I don't know. We'll give it a try. Maybe not. Actually, here's the thing. I really like the bro split. The bro split is great because it's easy, it's simple, and I don't have to think that hard. You know, like today was shoulder day, and I just focused on all the shoulder exercises. If I had like a push day and a pull day, and I'm not sure that I don't know. I don't know. This whole structure of exercise thing, I think I'm just going to stick with the bro split because it's just so simple and easy, and I've actually been making gains pretty good on it. So, you know, here's the thing. I'm going to be doing this weightlifting thing for years, right? It's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be hopefully, you know, nearly every weekday for the rest of my life. And so, how fast do I have to go? I think I'm only going to make changes when I stop making improvements in my gains. But I don't ever see that happening. I always see myself making improvements. I don't see why me not making gains has to happen. I mean, especially when I can always just increase the number of sets in any particular exercise, which I'm hopeful will increase my back workouts. I uh, I used to do just like 3 sets of pull-ups, which I know is crazy, and I increased them to 5 sets of pull-ups, and I just had amazing increase in gains in my pull-up. So I'm adding more sets to my pull-ups. I'm gonna do 6 sets every week for pull-ups, and I think I might even be doing more. I mean, I see myself even possibly doing 10 sets a week for pull-ups. So that's pretty amazing. I'm really glad that I'm focusing on pull-ups because I think pull-ups are a really important exercise. It's important to lift your whole body up to a bar and be relatively good at it. So this week is turning out or showing is turning out to be a really blustery and gray and rainy week here in Santa Barbara. It is wintertime, and it definitely feels like wintertime. I mean, I get up in the morning and it's like 45 degrees Fahrenheit, which I know for a lot of people around the country is pretty warm right now in the middle of winter, but for Santa Barbara it's really cold right now. So, you know, a lot of the time though I'm outside, it quickly gets up to 50 degrees and maybe even up to 55 degrees, which I can handle pretty well. But um, it's kind of a challenge to handle the more cold temperatures. But I've been challenging that idea lately about how the cold is a problem because let me tell you, human beings used to live in Europe. They've lived in cold places before, and the human body does such a good job at adapting to temperature. And I kind of think that this sort of fear of cold places is more of a cultural thing than a biological thing. I mean, just look at Wim Hof, right? He's able to handle all kinds of temperatures just by hyperventilating, and I don't see why people couldn't do that today, or at least I don't see why people are so upset over the cold and cut their walk short and things like that. Although that's exactly the thing I'm kind of guilty of. The last few times that me and Emily have gone for walks, I've basically cut the walk short because it's so cold outside. Like there's like chilly. It's like chilly to the bone sometimes. Because it's been so cold and windy. I don't know. There's an aspect I continually want to challenge that idea. Like there are beautiful things about colder weather, and here with problems with climate change on the fore, in the future, I'm I want to start appreciating the cold. I think the cold. I think there's something to appreciate about the cold, and I think we need the cold, as our climate certainly needs the cold. Our stability, our sort of environmental stability, our weather patterns need the cold. We need the cold to um, condense rain or precipitate rain out of the air. Cold's really important because cold is, that's how we move, water over the surface of the planet. We just sort of, the air gets colder than the dew point, and the water precipitates out of the air, and that's how the land gets its water. And so coal is really important. And I think that human body can maintain itself in cold pretty well. We just have to be smart about it and wear the appropriate clothing. And I guess I just have this idea that I want to stop being so cold negative. I want to stop putting a valence on the coal. I think ideally coal should be appreciated for what it is, and I think a neutral attitude is probably appropriate for the cold. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to have a more neutral attitude to the cold. The cold is something to be noted, but I don't think necessarily the cold is it's necessary to really have a lot of thoughts about the cold, right? We're just wimps. Well, here's the thing. I think the thing is that human beings are just more used to being indoors. Anything that's not indoors, we don't care for. And I think that that's probably true. And so, really our prohibition against the cold is because we're just so accustomed to being indoors all the time. And you know what? There's something not so great about being indoors all the time. To have this climate that's the same all the time, the same temperature, the same humidity, it's just the same. I think there's something about our brains that needs to have variation, like wind gusts and variation in lighting, and I think our retinas like to see these variations, the colors. Um, yeah, our biological systems were sort of meant to be outside. They were evolved outside, and I think it makes sense for us to sort of appreciate being outside and just the beauty of it. Anyway, so that's kind of what I have to say about being outside. Lately, there's been a movement called nature bathing, which I've been somewhat intrigued by, but I haven't done a lot of research on. And I've heard about people who go out into nature and how they receive benefits from being out in nature. Maybe they're inhaling certain chemicals or odors from the humus in the soil and the plant life and maybe the animal life, and they're receiving benefits to their bodies as a result. And I'm sure that there's some kind of sensory overload thing that goes on where our senses and our brains, our brains and senses just become happier when we are in nature and sort of experiencing nature in its ever changing variation. And I think that's something we need to protect and preserve, and maybe make, do some habit. It's great to get outside the door. The thing about it is, human beings spend a lot of time indoors, and in fact, that's been an issue related to things like disease. A lot of people don't get the sunlight, the vitamin D they need, because they're not going outside, because they're not getting sunlight. And there's also a big problem in the United States and in the world with inactivity. And the thing about it is, inside our little boxes, you know, we do a lot of sitting and laying down, and we're just not very active. And so we've got problems with obesity and problems with diabetes, and then the things that come along with that, heart attacks, high blood pressure, cancers that are the result of obesity and things like that. And then of course our food systems, right? Our food systems are highly processed. It's kind of funny being indoors and eating highly processed foods. This is all about civilization, where we were just making things really easy for our bodies, and our bodies are just falling apart as a result. And hey, I can get it. Nobody wants to eat twigs, but twigs are a good source of fiber. And they keep our colon going, and fiber reduces the incidence of colon cancer, I'm sure. It flushes out all kinds of things, and keeps that microbiome growing. So yeah, there are the whole project of civilization, which is seeking to make human life filled with more ease, is working, but there are consequences, right? Oh, I'm just seeing a bird, and reminded of some recent reports I've heard about monarch butterflies and their count being very reduced this year. And then I also read a report, or at least the title of a report, of a news article, talking about like 1/4 of bee species have not been seen, like in the last decade or something like that. And I've probably spoken a lot about insects and my concern for the insect biome here on the planet. The insect, I am quite concerned about sort of the fall of insects, and I'm saddened that it's not getting the kind of traction in the media that I hoped. And I don't know what we're gonna do if we lose our insects, and I'm not sure. I even know what to do. I mean, it's kind of funny. I've lived my life pretty much the same over the last 20 years or so. I haven't made a lot of changes, but so I don't know if there's anything that I personally can do about the insects. I'm not. I don't go around killing insects. In fact, I go around saving them most of the time, because I just have a strong desire to save insects. Quite often, I'm the one that I put insects outside the house if I see them inside, like spiders or beetles or anything like that. If I see them inside, I'll just carry them outside very gently. And it's so regrettable when, on by accident, I inadvertently kill the spiders as I'm trying to capture them and take them outside. I really do feel remorse and regret that I wasn't able to safely take the insects outside. The thing about insects is that I think of them as just so innocent, and so they really are. In fact, they really are just sort of babies, like insect babies. I don't know if any insect is older than 5 years old. It just strikes me as being so inhumane to kill insects with the strength that we, you know, with, our society is just um, so brutal toward insects in the insect world, and I'm really sad about that. A lot of people say bad things about mosquitoes and stuff, and mosquitoes are not pleasant sometimes, but you know what? They're it's not that bad. I've even had like clouds of mosquitoes around my head in the redwood forest. I remember of the ones near Silicon Valley. Um, During the summertime or in the fall, the mosquitoes go crazy, and but I'm able to survive and thrive. I am a little bit challenged by having mosquitoes around me all the time, but mosquitoes are one of the more bothersome insects that are out there. All the other insects are really just not that bothersome. And I've been having this idea lately that a good part of fun might be to go seek out some insects and go look for them and sort of discover where they are now and what their lives are like, and study them. And when I was a kid, I used to really enjoy seeking out insects, and I used to find a lot of them. There were insects all over the place. And then, of course, when I learned to drive, I used to see insects all get smashed up on my windshield and stuff like that. That does not happen very much anymore. I drive a lot, and very rarely do I get insects on my windshield. So, I mean, it is concerning to me. I used to really enjoy insects, and I guess, what is the name of the insect scientists? I think they're called entomologists. That may be the case. I'll have to look it up. Well, anyway, I think that's a direction that I want to bring some of my attention, and that is to insect life, because um, I wonder if there's anything that I can do to help protect and preserve insects. Now, I actually do buy a lot of organic food, and I'm hopeful that that action will help protect the insects, at least a little bit. It's what I can do to protect the insects. But anyway, I guess that's me. Maybe I can also get a bumper sticker that says, like, protect the insects. Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I really do think that insects are a big part of our lives here on the planet, and I hate to see them go. I wish human beings would do a better job of, and just people, yeah, human beings on this planet would do a better job of managing our planet. We're just so good at messing things up, particularly biological things. We're just good at killing things, like killing insects and killing plant life. We're just so good at using our chemicals, like through agriculture, to just, it's tough. We're actually also not good at growing stuff. I wish we could be better at growing stuff, but we're just not that good. Like, even when it comes to trees and deforestation on the planet, something as simple as keeping trees on the planet is just not. It's just hard for us to do, and I think that's pretty regrettable. I feel sorry for all the animals that are on this planet having to share space with us humans. We're just not a very sympathetic species, and we just go around about our day thinking we're the most important species on the planet, and maybe in some respects we are, but I think it's important to honor and respect all life forms on this planet, plant and animal, and seek and act to preserve them as much as we can. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.